Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to the 800 to 2200 Blitz challenge for the day. Um, we're going to get started off here with some tactics problems just to get us warmed up for the day. And we'll get started with this next one here. So it looks like it's white's move in this position, and we're trying to figure out what to do here. This is kind of an interesting one. So I think the answer here is queen takes h7 check, king takes, rook check, king moves, the knight goes to g6, and we have a check here and a check on f8. That's a pretty cool looking one there. Nice little rook wraparound move at this point. Whoop. Okay, so let's get with another one here. Alright, so black has just played the move d6. And looks like there's two different options here. We can play queen h5 check or queen a4 check. I think queen a4 check just wins immediately, though. Queen a4 check, take here with check, take here with check, and then we just continue the little staircase maneuver here with queen takes d7 check. Checkmate. Alright, so we'll move on to another problem. Looks like it's white's move here as well. What do we do here? So I would think there's some kind of knight f6 check we'd like to play. So after knight f6 check, though, black is simply just going to grab it with the queen. And we don't really have much there. So what if we did like bishop d6? Does that change much? If bishop d6, I feel like he can just move the king over, and then there's no more checks. What if rook d6? Does that change anything? Yeah, I think that's pretty good, actually. So rook d6 here. Okay, if the bishop had taken, we were going to do knight f6 check, but because he doesn't take, now we can just do knight f6 check anyways. The queen is going to take, and then we have rook takes, and we're just up a queen for a piece, so definitely a big winning advantage there. Alright, this is a... oh, this one actually comes from a real game, I believe. It's a little windmill theme here, bishop f6, lose the queen, but we're going to get a lot of discovered checks in this position. Then we're going to swing back for the queen, pick up the queen, and we're up a piece and a couple pawns here, so that's definitely winning as well. Okay, so we've done a couple tactic problems. Let's move on to the actual challenge here. I know that I've been missing for a couple days. I'll explain that in a little bit, the reason behind that. But let's get over to the challenge, the actual Blitz challenge here. I'm sure that's what you guys came to see. Alright, we start off today on the account at a rating of 1769. So we're going to look for some people to play here. And we're going to try to get to 1900 at the very least today. So if we're still trying to complete the challenge by the end of June, that means we have today, Monday, and Tuesday. So we have 3 days, and I need to gain about 400, a little under 450 points, about 420 points, which means we need to get about 140 points per day. I think that's possible. We'll see how it goes for today, though. Also depends on how quickly we can get a game going. So we're going to seek a game. In the meantime, we're going to observe a game. Hopefully we get matched up with somebody fairly soon. Crunch time. There you go. Yep. gotta get through it. The reason I've been missing for the past couple of days, let's see. I missed Friday, Monday, and Wednesday this week. I've been doing a lot of work with the Chess.com University Prodigy program. We are doing a big preparation for July free coaching month. And I'll explain that a little bit more in a little bit. So we have this game here. We're rated 1769. We're playing against Arc Chess 14, rated 1814. We're going to go with the Queen's Gambit here in this game. He plays the Slav defense, so we'll play knight c3. He plays f6. I feel like this could be a mouse slip, maybe? Maybe he meant to do knight f6. Not really sure if even takebacks are possible. Okay, well, we'll see how to deal with it anyways. I think we can just play e4 and just open things up, right? Let's just go for that. Let's just try to open up the board. Take advantage of this weird f6 move. So we're just going to take with our knight. We're going to go back to g3, hit his bishop. We're going to go bishop to d3. Maybe try to trade off these bishops, weaken his light squares once those bishops are gone. Knight d7. Let's go with h4. We're just going to pressure this bishop more here. I could also do knight e2 to f4. Maybe that's an idea coming up here. Alright, we're still going to do knight e2. Is there anything better, though? I think knight e2 is fine. Keep the d4 pawn defended here. He's probably going to castle queenside. Yep, figures. Let's go with... Let's go with h5. Kick this bishop. If he takes, that's perfectly fine with me. I'll take back. He's probably going to play bishop f7. That's probably his best idea here, I'd say. Okay, I guess he's mouse slipping a lot, because that's definitely a free piece right there. Okay, so I'm definitely not taking the knight because of the pin on the d-pawn there. Easiest is just to play queen c2. Now I'm threatening the knight because there's no pin. So he'll probably go back to d7, I would assume. He could play queen b4 check. Actually, that's not... Well, it still doesn't work out, unfortunately, for him. Queen b4 check, I play bishop d2, and then I take the knight next move. Yeah, oh. This guy's having a rough time with his mouse. F6 was a mouse slip, I'm assuming. Bishop e4, queen b5. Yeah, he just disconnected. He's probably just kind of mad. If your queen side's open and you drive the h-pawn, doesn't that affect your king safety, or is castling king side still okay? I think a castling king side would still be fine here. Just because I've pushed the h-pawn doesn't really make too big of a difference with the g and the f-pawns. So I could, you know, it's not easy for him to attack on the king side, actually, even though I do have a little bit of a weakness. So I'd probably still castle king side. Yeah, this guy's got a big mouse problem. Hey, JPK, Mr. Fartbrains, how you guys doing? Guy's buying a new mouse after this game, guaranteed. 100% guaranteed. He disconnected, so I guess we're just sitting here for another minute. Not a whole lot else I can do either. I asked him in the chat, it wasn't a mouse slip for the first one, and now I definitely know they were a bunch of mouse slips, so... yeah, this guy should also not play bullet with this mouse. He should probably just get rid of this mouse completely. There's really not a whole lot to analyze here. I'll just do it really briefly. Clearly f6 is a mouse slip. I'm assuming he meant to play knight f6. That would make much more sense. Once he plays f6, though, my idea is just kind of to open up the game. Try to take advantage of his weaknesses on the light squares here. So I played e4, take. We go around and kick his bishop. We play bishop d3. If he trades bishops, that's perfectly fine. I still have these same light square weaknesses I can take advantage of. Better for him would be to retreat the bishop, at least hold on to this guy and play like e6 and try to kind of hunker down for a while. He definitely cannot take the pawn on d4 because of this discovered attack idea. So instead he played knight d7, h4, queen b6, knight e2, castles, h5, bishop e4, obviously a mouse slip. Once again, bishop f7 is still fine. Here I would have probably played queen c2, castled, bishop e3, and then probably just attacked on the queen side. Something like that, just kind of ramming the pawns down his throat. His king's not exactly the safest in the world either. But when he mouse slips again, I mean, he mouse slips a piece, he mouse slips a queen. It's he needs to get a new mouse for sure. Okay, let's look for another one here. All right, we're up to 1778. It looks like. So maybe another 122 points in about 2.5 hours. That should be doable. Still hoping to make it to 2,200 by the end of the month. Yeah, I've been off a couple days this past week, mainly due to some other work engagement things. I'm going to try to complete the challenge. At this rate, we're going to need 122 points. No, I'm sorry. 422 points in 3 days. Let me pull out my handy-dandy calculator. I think that's like 120 points a day. Let's see. 422 divided by 3. Oh, 140 points. So about 140 points per day is what we need from here. It's not impossible to do. I have definitely had 150-point days and 200-point days, but it might be a little bit tricky, mainly because we're not going to get as many games the farther up we go. I'll try to continue the challenge into July a little bit, but work will become very hectic in July due to the free coaching month, the free chess coaching month that we are doing during July. So if anybody's interested in that, let me put a link in the chat really quick if anybody's interested in this free coaching month that we're doing. There's absolutely no obligation. If you've already signed up for it, that's awesome. If you haven't just yet, it's completely free for the month of July. It will go up to $35 a month in future months, but you're not locked into anything. You can just do the free month and then not ever do it again. That's completely up to you. The only reason we have the form is just for getting information, a little bit of information from the students, and then we can email you for future information later this week. You have to be premium, though? You actually do not have to be premium, as far as I know. I don't believe premium is required. If somebody told you that, we've changed that. So I don't think you have to be premium anymore. Kind of as one of the lead instructors for the coaching month, I would know. I would hope I would know the rules behind it. And also, Alexei Shirov is going to be teaching in it. Grandmaster Alexei Shirov, one of the top world players in the world. Other grandmasters, myself, a couple other FIDE masters, international masters. There's going to be a good amount of people, strong players that are teaching. And it's completely free, so I figure why not try it out. It's just kind of our way of giving back to the community for the month of July. So it's pretty much like a no-lose situation, in my opinion. Okay, so let's get with this game. We're playing against Toli Katurasu. He plays e4. We're going to go with c5 here. Hey, Nawa. Nice to see you. Goes with d4. This is the Smith-Morra gambit, I assume. We're going to go with knight f6. I have previously accepted the gambit in other games. I'm going to go with a different line here. We give the pawn back, but we do have a nice knight on d5. We also have some ability to counterattack our opponent's center here with d6. He plays f4. We're going to take that pawn. And now there's a little bit of trickiness here. We have queen h4 check. If he plays g3, we would have had queen to e4 check, forking the king and the rook. His king is forced to move for that reason. And I don't think that's a very safe king, in my opinion. Doesn't seem very safe. So we're just going to continue developing. He'll play knight f3, probably. We are just going to... I think our queen's kind of done its job, making the king not able to castle, so I think I'm just going to retreat the queen. Pretty much, he has extra space, but his king is kind of stuck in the center here, as far as I can tell. We're just going to go with bishop d7. He's probably going to try like walk his king back over to the king side. Yeah. So he's going to play like rook e1, king f2, or rook f1, king f2, something like that. He is ahead on space, which is, you know, not too bad for him here at all. But it's going to take him quite a lot of moves to get his king safe here. What are my thoughts on Norway chess? Interesting that Magnus Carlsen did not play very well. I wasn't really expecting that. But, you know, definitely some interesting games. Definitely some stuff to learn from. Okay, so he has this kingside space advantage, but we're caught up on development. We're actually a little bit ahead on development at the moment. Now we're going to work on trading off pieces here because we're behind on space a little bit. So knight a5 to trade off his light square bishop, which is his good bishop. So getting rid of his good piece is good in my opinion. We're also attacking the c3 pawn. So I think we can just pick it up. Trade here, and then rook takes c3, I believe. Don't see a problem with that. Don't think there's any trickiness. If he plays bishop d2, I might even just play rook a3. Looks a little weird, but it will at least prevent my pawns from being doubled and keeps pressure on the a2 pawn. So I'm thinking rook a3 here, even though it looks pretty weird. If I retreat back to like c8, he can exchange and then double my pawns, and then my extra pawn is kind of nullified to a degree. I think I'm just going to play here. As long as my rook doesn't get trapped, that's something I have to be a little bit careful about, but I think I'll be okay. I can always go to a4 if I need to. Underdeveloping 2 tempi loss, though I guess castling rights is worth like 2 temp anyway. Yeah, he needs to get his king safe out of the center of the board, but he does take quite a while to do it. And now I'm up a pawn, so it's I'm happy with it here. Okay, queen g4. He wants to play bishop h6, clearly. I think we're just going to move the king. Right, move the king is okay. We could also just play rook e8 and then bishop f8. That could also be okay. King h8, he plays like bishop g5, maybe? I think this is okay, though. If bishop g5, I think I can actually do rook takes f3, and it works out in my favor. If knight g5, well, I'll probably just get rid of the knight. A knight on g5 is going to be a little bit scary here. Attacking f7. Oh, okay. So he did play knight g5. I think I just have to get rid of the knight. Not any two ways around it, I think. So we're going to take that. And then we're going to play queen d7. I would like to play queen d5, but then he plays bishop e7 and forks the rook. So I got to play queen d7. Next, I'll play rook a4 to attack the d-pawn. I'll play knight c6 to attack the d-pawn. That's the general plan at the moment. The kingside attack is kind of stalled out here. Okay, we're definitely trading off rooks. Playing knight c6, attacking the pawn. If he plays rook d1, I have... Oh, okay, he doesn't do it. I guess we're just going to go with rook d8, pile up on the pawn some more. If he plays rook d1, I have knight takes e5, taking advantage of the pin on the d file. So we're taking that pawn. If he takes back, we grab the rook on the back rank. He doesn't take back. I think we can just play queen d5. Try to trade off queens here. He still can't grab the knight because of all the pins with the d-pawn. We're playing rook takes. I threaten knight takes f3 now. Actually, rook c1 is a little bit annoying right now. Yeah, Yeah, rook c1's a bit annoying. Maybe I kind of got a little over anxious. I can't really save the knight and the mate. I think I just got to give up the piece. I am going to have a rook against a lot of pawns, though. So g6. Got to stop the mate. Let's see, I have 6 pawns against 3 pawns, or yeah, 6 versus 3. So I technically have even material in that sense. We're going to go attack the A pawn. He can't really afford to lose too many pawns here. Alright, king is safe for the moment. Rook takes a2 next move. Let's check him first, though. If he goes king e4, we actually have f5 checkmate, which is kind of funny. So his king has to retreat, for sure. Yeah, so we'll play f6 to kick the bishop back. Just signed up for the free lessons? Excited? Awesome. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Alright, so this actually is not too bad for black at all. We're up, we got 3 pawns against a bishop. We're going to play now rook d3. Hit the d4 pawn. If he plays rook c4, I have check and then pick up the a2 pawn. Alright, we're just going to advance the king a little bit. Maybe king g4 next move. Take with the pawn. King g4, h4. Start pushing these kingside pawns. So despite being down a piece, messing things up a bit, this isn't too bad for me at all, actually. We're going to go back here. Make him go back to c2, pretty much. Now we're going to start advancing the pawns. Or I lose on time. Oh! I forget how low I am on time. I have to play way quicker. Okay, that's pretty annoying. I should probably win that game. Okay, let's analyze this one real quick. The time is, I just completely forgot about time there. Okay, so, let's see. d6, take, check here, knight c6, knight f3. So his king can't play g3 at this point because of queen e4 check, forking the king and the rook. So he pretty much has to play king d2 in order to avoid, get his king somewhat safe. But really not that safe. I do put my queen back on d8, and then I finish my development, get castled, rook c8. So despite, he had to make a lot of moves to get his king safe, I am up on development a little bit here. He plays bishop to e4, knight a5. I definitely would like to trade this piece off because it is white's best piece at the moment. This other bishop is blocked behind all the central pawns, so the bishop on e4 is the good bishop. We trade off that, and we actually end up winning a pawn. We get the king to safety, trade off that, queen d7, rook f3, trade off there, attack another pawn, attack again, pick up that pawn. Queen d5, not really necessary, I guess. A little bit over-ambitious. Knight c4 is pretty much an easy win, and then play queen d5. Queen d5 definitely unnecessary. Take, and then rook c1. I can't save the knight and stop the checkmate at the same time is the problem. So I figure I'll get a pawn out of it, push my pawn, attack his. I definitely have to stop bishop e5, or at least get my king a little safer after that. So g5 is kind of forced here. Check, move up. Rook c2, check there. f6, h5, rook d3. We just kind of start to encroach on his position a bit. Unfortunately, lose on time, but I feel like black's actually not that bad here at all. King g4, h3, or king here to here, g4, g3. I feel like black should actually be pretty good here. Despite being down a piece, we have 3 pawns for it. Okay, a little bit of a setback. Completely forgot the time situation. I haven't done this in like over a week, so getting back into it. All right, let's look for another game though. We're back to 1771. Hey, let's play. I'm Young and Muslim. Yeah, I just got your challenge. I'm doing a challenge for myself, trying to raise my second account's Blitz rating up to 2200. At the moment, the rating for the account is at 1771. I would love to play you. However, your rating is 1185 at the moment, and just because of the rules I kind of set myself for the challenge, I'm not playing anybody more than like 100 points under my rating, just because of the challenge. So I apologize about not being able to play at the moment. We could definitely play it sometime in the future, though. Just challenge me some other time in the future, and we'll definitely get a game together. So let's see. All right, I'm going to observe somebody right now. Am I still taking on all comers on Friday afternoons? It depends on what's going on later today for me. I do have to kind of confirm a few things. Might not happen today, but I will try to continue the Friendly Friday despite even if the challenge for the month finishes in June. I'll try to continue the Friendly Friday in the future months and future Fridays and things like that. So I might be able to do it today, this Friday afternoon, but I can't guarantee just yet, unfortunately. I'll let you guys know as the stream continues what kind of things I just have to confirm a few things first. Alright, so white's down the exchange, but it isn't looking too bad here. These rooks aren't really getting into white's position too easily. Okay, we got a game here. We're playing against Humba. He's white, we're black. Let's go copycat. Knight f3, knight f6. We're going to copycat him there too. And now we're going to break the copycat. Play b6, develop the bishop to b7. Take there, and then play bishop to b7. So this will be kind of like a Sicilian defense almost. Almost, depending on what he plays here. Alright, so bishop g5. We're going to go with e6, I believe. He plays e3. Let's go bishop to e7. See what Humba decides to do here. Hey, Austin A316, thanks a lot for the follow. You were 800. I made a second account pretty much, and I tanked the rating against a computer down to a rating of 800, and then I started a challenge at that point. So this is not my main account by any means. This is my kind of like secondary account, and that's what I used for the purposes of the challenge. I'm playing d5 here. If he takes with the pawn, his knight on c3 will be undefended. I could also play bishop b4 pretty soon, potentially. Hey, D. Graybill. Alright, so we're taking the pawn. He's probably going to take my bishop, I would assume. Okay, that works too. We're just going to get castled. When he moves this knight, I'll play b5, pretty much, is the idea. Alright, I think we're still going to play b5. If he takes the pawn, we'll play b4, and then just push it. What's my opening repertoire for black? Against e4, I play the Sicilian. Against d4, I play either the Binko Gambit or the Benoni. Against c4, I try to kind of get into Sicilian type stuff. That's kind of the main things I go for. Against knight f3, I try to do Sicilian type stuff as well, for the most part. Alright, so b4 just to kick his knight. I could have played queen takes c4. Or no, I couldn't. I could not play queen takes c4 because my bishop's hanging, but now we're just playing... now we're just playing knight d7. He should try to play c5 probably. Try to advance that c-pawn. Makes some sense. Yeah, modern Benoni is a lot of fun to play, definitely. Let's see. So he wants to play c6, clearly. I don't really want to allow that too easily. So we're going to take. He'll probably play queen takes. I'll play knight e5, I believe. Actually, let's just play rook c8 first and see what he decides to do. Rook c8. We'll play knight e5 pretty soon. If he plays c6, definitely knight e5. He does have this passed pawn on the c-file, but it's going to be kind of blockaded fairly well. I can also play queen a5 at the right time, and this knight's going to have to be kind of misplaced. That's probably my next move, if I get the chance. Alright, so knight a5. Yeah, just hit the queen. If he goes queen g3, I have knight to e4, which is definitely bad for him. Forking the queen and the bishop. So he goes queen e2. Now we're going to play queen to a5. Hitting the knight. And if this knight disappears, we're also hitting the bishop on g5. If the knight goes back to b2, I think... I think I might just grab the a2 pawn. Maybe. We'll see. We are up a minute here. Much better than the previous game. Queen c2. So I would love to move this knight somewhere so that I could grab the bishop over there. Knight takes c6 doesn't work, though, because if knight takes, queen takes, and he does knight takes e7 check, that's a big, bad series of moves for me. Is there anything else, though? Let's go knight d5. We're going to trade off these bishops, and then we're going to try to counterattack now the c6 pawn. Now, we are threatening to take it. He has to push it, and then I'll go back to d5 and continue attacking it. I don't think that works for him. I think we can just grab this. Alright. I think this is okay. Actually, I probably could just grab the knight on on an a5 for free. Take there. Alright, if I trade queens, that's not good. I think I can do knight d7, though. This is actually a little trickier than I thought. He's going to play knight d7, or he's going to trade and then play knight d7. Yeah. Alright, we're going to have to win this one in a little bit of a different way. Knight on c3 is pretty nice, though. Watch my time. Yep, gotta watch it on this one. Just advance the king. keep the B pawn defended, and then play rook a7 next move, probably. Pick up a pawn. Get a check. We got another check. And we win this one. Okay, good. Okay, so let's analyze this one here. Flip the board. All right, so knight f3, knight f6. We do a little bit of copycat here. I played b6 here. Developed the bishop to b7. This could easily become like a Sicilian type position if he had played f3, e6, e4. This is now pretty much just like the Sicilian. The way he plays is pretty similar though. Bishop g5, e6, e3, bishop e7. He cracked. Yeah, he did kind of crack there at the end, unfortunately. He played bishop e2. I can't really take this pawn because he plays bishop f3, counterattacking my rook. If I take his, he takes mine. I guess this could be possible, but I mean, if I play knight c6, this is... He's still picking up the rook anyways. If I play d5, he just plays take, 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 and then there's all kinds of bad threats. So taking the g2 pawn would have been very, very risky there, so I just play a6. Bishop f3, queen c7. b3, d5, trying to take advantage of the pin. Against the c4 pawn. Castles, I take. He plays rook c1. I can't really take again because now knight b5 is a double attack on the queen. I move, and then he gets something like this, and this is very bad for me. So I can't do that. Instead, I just decide to castle. He played queen e2, b5, takes b4, knight a4, knight d7, c5, take, take, rook c8, c6, knight e5, queen e2, queen a5, queen c2, knight d5, take, take, queen c5. Probably the easiest way here, definitely the easiest way, just take this knight, and then either way he takes, I pick up the c6 pawn. If he takes here, I pick this up. And this could be kind of drawish, I suppose. Or he takes this one, and it's pretty much the same exact thing. Actually, at this point, I'm up a pawn, so that could have been a little bit drawish, though. Better than losing the exchange, though, of course. Knight b6 is a good move here. Oops, back up. If I trade queens, the problem is I have to keep guarding this knight. He plays rook here, and now I can't really guard the knight anymore. I'm just losing a full piece instead of the exchange. So I lose the exchange instead. Once my knight gets to c3, though, this is really not too bad. I just work on improving the king position, just walking him right on down the board. Attack the a2 pawn. I couldn't grab it because of the pin. Attack the a2 pawn, he checks. I could have played king here to attack the rook, but I thought he might try to go into this. And this is back to being pretty drawish. Even pawns and stuff like that. I played king d3 just to make him kind of think here a little bit more. He played a3, it gives me just a completely free pawn. And like somebody said, he does just kind of crack at this point. The king moves, we take here, b3, and we just win pretty easily there. Around about move 20, how about knight f3, so you could grab his bishop and break his pawn structure and gain tempo. Let's see what you're talking about here. You're referring knight f3 at this point, and then trying to grab his bishop on g5 here, I think you're talking about, Ante. He can just take with his knight is the problem, and he's guarding his bishop. This would work out if I could make him take with the g-pawn, and then I take here. But of course, he can just take with his knight and keep the bishop defended on g5. Oh, no need to apologize, no problem. Okay, so we kind of swindle him a little bit. He definitely cracks at the end, but we do swindle him maybe a little bit there. All right, let's move on to another one. Let's see. Oh, Gadzinsko. Yeah, yeah. VSim linked in the Google form there. So fill that out. That'll just get you kind of put on the list for getting more information regarding the free month in July. Um, absolutely no obligations or anything like that, though. White looks, wow, this is an interesting looking position. Games are getting tricky good at this point. Yeah, the games are definitely a little bit trickier now compared to when people used to just blunder checkmates and stuff like that. All right, we're playing Chess Strategist, 1828. Let's go with c4. Vary it up a little bit. See what the strategist decides to do. All right, he goes e6. We could easily play d4 and kind of go back into a normal type d4 opening. Let's play knight f3, though. Let's kind of keep him guessing a little bit here. Knight f6. We're going to go with g3. Develop the bishop to g2. Get castled. And only now are we going to declare the pawn to d4. We're going to play knight to c3. Knight e4. We're going to play queen c2. He's going to take. I'll take with the queen. Bishop e4. Always a little bit of an annoying setup for black to play. Annoying for myself, because it's hard for me to get e4 in, and I don't really want to move the knight and trade off these bishops, because this is actually a pretty good piece for me. At some point, though, I will play like bishop h3 and then knight d2 is the idea. Bishop b2, maybe d5 ideas. Threatening checkmate. If I play d5 immediately, though, he just plays bishop f6, so that's not any good. I think here I am going to play bishop h3. I'm going to play knight d2 next move. Kick this bishop around. This also makes it a little tricky for him to move this f-pawn because of bishop takes e6. Definitely a double-edged position. Bishop f6, okay. I think we're going knight d2 here. Yeah, let's just go knight d2 here. Retreat. And I think we can actually get away with playing e4 right here. e4, if he takes, I have bishop takes e6. Is it necessary, though? e4, pawn takes, bishop takes, king moves, and then my light squares are a little open. I think we're just going to go with queen c2 here now. We're going to try to play e4 next move, though. e4 pretty soon. We could also play d5 and try to undermine the f5 pawn. So if he plays like c5, I might even just play d5. Alright, so he really wants to play g4. I'm playing e4. If he takes, I could take on the e6 pawn and then take back on e4. Any threats of the weather-induced disconnect gambit? My internet did go out, let's say, what was that, 2 or 3 days ago? I hope nothing happens, but I can't promise anything. There has been quite a lot of storming here in Florida recently, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, so I like my position now. A lot of space in the center. If he takes there, I'm going to play knight takes e4. Stormy in Florida? Yeah, definitely stormy in Florida right now. It seems like it rains almost every day or every other day right now. That's kind of how the summer is in general. Okay, he plays f4. Interesting. I think I could just capture it, maybe? Is capturing it a problem? I don't think so. If I capture, he plays like bishop h4 or something. I think it's okay. I think we're going to go for it. Well, let's see what happens here. His king side is just as open as mine is, and I'm up a pawn, so it can't really be like terrible for me or anything like that. I do think bishop h4. Whoops. He does bishop g7 though. I can't really guard this pawn, but what we're going to do, we're going to kind of re-sacrifice it, I guess is the way of saying things. I think we're going to play f5 here, is my thinking process. Kind of like a counter-sacrifice almost. He's going to take. Another question is, do I take back this way, or do I just play like e5 and just try to blow everything open? I think we're going to take this way. We're still up a pawn right now. He's probably going to win this f5 pawn back pretty soon, though. Not too much I can stop about that. Next move, probably queen e4 to hit the g4 pawn. Definitely a very interesting type position here. His king is open, my king's open. If he wins that f-pawn, my position might be a little tricky. But I think I'll be able to manage. I'm going to play queen to e4, I believe. Yeah, so queen e4. If he plays rook takes, of course, I'm going to pick up the rook in the corner. If he does queen takes, I'm actually okay trading queens at this point. If he does rook to e8, I have queen d5 check. And, okay, I guess we're trading queens here. I'm actually not unhappy about this. Knight e4, we'll play rook d2 and then knight g3, kick this rook around. Maybe knight f1 was better, because e3 attacks the g4 pawn too. But we're pretty equal, I'd say, here. Maybe a little bit of an advantage for him, mainly because of the... I have two isolated pawns versus two kingside pawns, which are okay. But I think we're not unhappy here. Rook e2, we're going to play like knight g3 pretty soon. We might even play like rook g1 and go after the g4 pawn. So I'm going to go rook g1, kind of mess with him a little bit, see what he decides to do. Knight g3, attacking the rook and the h5 pawn. Bishop c1 to poke the rook a little more. Let's play b4. I want to win this h5 pawn, because once I win the h5 pawn, then the g4 pawn is weak, even at the cost of some queenside pawns here. We're going like bishop, actually just king f1, I believe. Actually, king h1. Let's do rook takes g4 next move, is the idea. And pick up the d4. Oops, let's check here. Knight g3. After the rook moves, I'm going to pick up the bishop on d4. If I take it immediately, I guess we just grab it. The knight's defending the rook there. He is going to get a couple pawns for the piece, but I think this should be okay for me. He has one pawn for the piece. We're going to play bishop d2 to retreat and defend. I think this is just a free pawn. So now we're just up a full piece. This should be winning with not too much trouble. Bishop c3 to fork the two pieces. He's going to check me. Or just give me a free rook. Yeah, and it's over at that point. Okay, let's analyze this one. You can do d5, watch time. d5 would give black the dark squares in the center, freeing him a lot. Yeah, we'll talk about all the pushes that were possible there. Opening's fairly standard. Kind of looks like a Nimzo Indian defense almost, except without him playing bishop to b4. It's kind of like a Queen's Indian defense, I assume. Take, bishop to e4. Sometimes if black plays, for example, let's say he plays, I don't know, d6. There's sometimes gambits where white can play d5, take, and then, like, knight somewhere, maybe d2. And I'm going to pick the pawn back up without letting his bishop get active. So that's the reason people play bishop e4. If I play d5 now, he just takes it, and it's just a free pawn. No, I'm not going to win it back type thing. So I played rook d1, d6, b3, knight d7, bishop e2, f5. Hey, extra Dutch. After bishop h3. The reason I don't play knight d2 immediately is because he can just take bishop f6. I'm still okay here. It's not like I'm losing or anything. But I do like my light square bishop. That's usually my better bishop. This one's kind of blocked up right now. And it's also hard to push this because he can just use that diagonal too. So I played bishop h3 first. I want to play knight d2 and e4 like we saw. Bishop f6, knight d2, retreat, queen c2, going for e4. G5 is definitely optimistic. E4, G4, bishop G2, F4. This is actually probably his best move at the point. If he takes the pawn, I think this is pretty good for me. I do knight takes, and then I threaten all kind of like discovered attacks on his bishop. So F4 is probably his best move, actually. I don't need to take it. Maybe in hindsight, taking it is not the best way to play. Maybe better is... I was always thinking about like e5, and if he takes, something like knight e4, and if he takes, then I'm down a pawn, but I have the bishop versus the knight, and his king side is very open. I might be able to put that to good use somehow. I was considering that idea, but I wasn't sure if it was necessary at that point. I figured I'll grab the pawn. He retreats. The problem here is I can't really defend the pawn anyway. He went take, he play f3. Let's go back there. Take. Even if he plays f3, I just retreat. And I'm not going to get checkmated on g2 anytime soon. If he takes here now, then I'll play knight e4. Kind of the same exact type thing. Just a very small difference with the pawn and the king. So instead, though, I took the pawn. Before bishops traded? Well, it'd be kind of similar here still. Still kind of a similar idea. Or I can actually... This might actually be okay for me here, too. Bishop d3, hit that. The point is, I'm down a pawn, but I get a lot of counterplay for the piece, or for the pawn here. I looked unsure of this move. Was that your intuition? Yeah, it was kind of intuition, plus not trying to think too long about the move and get into too much time pressure. Either I was... Oops, I definitely wasn't doing that. Either I was taking the pawn, or I was pushing the pawn. That was my two options here. I just decided to take and see how it goes, though. He retreats. I have no way of guarding this, and I figured I'll just play f5, take, queen g5, queen e4. We end up trading queens, and my position's maybe a little bit worse, but it's not bad by any means. You mean g takes f? Yeah, I just did g takes f because I figured it was a bit of a safer, maybe a little bit of a safer route. Notice how neither side has a very large advantage at this point. He played h5, knight g3, forking the rook and the pawn. Rook g5, hit the rook. He moved b4, pick up the pawn. He picks up the pawn, I move. He needs to guard this, well, he can't really guard this g4 pawn, and his king is actually not very safe here, despite having an active rook. So we're just taking the pawn on g4. He played king f8. If I take here, I guess he takes my knight. This is still winning for me, though. I can check, and then pick up the knight there. So there were a couple of different ways to win at this point. I just decided to play knight g3. attacking the rook. And then I was going to pick up the bishop next move. If he goes here, I'll play bishop g7. Or actually, rook g7 is pretty good too. Anything else he does, I just pick up the bishop like we saw. I took the bishop, take. And here I'm just up a piece. And he makes a mistake of not moving the rook. He should play check and then move the knight or something. But he moved the knight here first, and then I just picked up the rook, and this is completely over here. Okay, so let's move on to another one. We're up to 1789. So we'll seek a game and watch somebody else play in the meantime. Alright, so we got GM Joey playing white against Fabi playing black. Watching your commentary is like looking into master level players' mind. That's kind of the idea. Thanks for appreciating it, though. Okay, we're against some bud rule playing d4. We're gonna go with knight f6 here. Knight f3. Let's go c5. d5. We're gonna go e6, counterattacking the pawn. Knight c3, okay. Usually white will play c4 there to keep a pawn in the center. Knight c3, though, there's a couple different ways to meet this. I think we're going to go this route. We're going to trade off everything on d5, play knight c6. We're going to play knight to b4 and then d5 is the idea. It's like think like a grandmaster in practice. Yeah, that's kind of... Think like a FIDE master, not a grandmaster. I wish at this point. We're playing f6 to counterattack the bishop. And we also buy some time to play knight to b4 next move, most likely. So he's got to move the bishop somewhere. Bishop d2, okay. How many IM norms do I have, if any? Unfortunately, I don't have any at the moment. It's not a little bit. It's actually pretty tough to find strong norm tournaments here in Florida. Hard to find FIDE-rated tournaments, period, here in Florida, unfortunately. So I'm still working on the norms at the moment. He plays bishop d2. If I play knight b4, I think he's just going to take it. So let's play queen to b6. Hit the b2 pawn. We might play knight e7 and then d5. I need to get in d5 in order for this position to be okay. So we're going to go knight e7. Florida's the worst. I agree. It's hot. It storms. We got hurricanes. There's not very many good chess tournaments. There's definitely strong players here. There's grandmasters and international masters and stuff like that, but they're all in Miami, and I don't live in Miami. That's a pretty far drive, so it's not as easy as I wish it was. All right, I think we're just exchanging, maybe. I'm behind on development, so I gotta be pretty careful here, actually. Could also just play bishop e6. I think this is okay. Yeah, let's just do this. Bad hockey team. Why did you buy Diamond membership? Was it required? They actually gave me the Diamond membership for free because as a titled player, you get the Diamond membership without pay. So I didn't have to pay for it. All right. I need to get this. I need to get developed. Is the next goal here. But I do want to kind of keep the position a little bit closed. So I'm going to play d4. Next move, knight g6, probably. Alright, I think we're playing a3 here, or I'm sorry, a6 here first, though. A6, kick the bishop. and then play knight c6, a little bit better than knight g6. Yeah, so knight c6. Next move, probably just bishop to d6, most likely. My position's going from a little bit difficult to, I think I'm actually perfectly fine here at the moment. Don't think there's any downsides. Okay, e5. Not bad move. I definitely don't want to take because knight g5 is hurtful. I think we're going to play bishop to e7. And then if he takes the pawn, we're going to take back with the g-pawn. If I take back with the bishop, he gets like knight g5 check, and I don't really know if I want to give him the 2-bishop advantage right now, so we're going to take with the pawn. Next, we'll play bishop to d5, and then bishop to d6, and try to use these 2 bishops somehow here. Rook c8 and c4 is also an idea. Do you think you're best at opening, middle game, or end game, if any? I like the end games a lot. I like end games a lot. I don't know if I'd say I'm best at them over the other ones, over the other phases of the game. But I do like the end games a lot. Like maneuvering and the calculation and stuff like that. I'd probably say I'm best at end games actually. My openings aren't exactly the most creative or the most studied up thing in the world. Alright, we're going 95 here. We got to... Actually, c4 is also okay. I think 95 is better, though. 95, just to hit the bishop on d3. Okay, bishop f5. Just take here. Probably just play bishop f8, as weird as it looks. Let's just go here instead, actually. Next, I want to play c4 pretty soon, if I can. Alright, we're going back to c6, though, at the moment. Bishop f8, offer a trade of rooks. Trade off that. Play h5. King g6 next move, probably. Or push these pawns on the queen side. I need to play c4 so that this bishop can move around a bit, is the idea here. Bishop c5 now is a good spot for that bishop to sit. Right there. King here. Okay, I guess that's a free piece. That's unfortunate. Now we're just up a piece. Not a whole lot to say. d3 check. If he takes, knight d4 check now. The king moves, we pick up the rook, and we're going to be up a full rook there. Okay, so he kind of fell apart there at the end as well. In-game lines can we calculate? Yeah, that's definitely part of it. That's part of why I like the in-game. You can calculate things a bit clearer. Okay, so the opening here is interesting. He plays knight c3. Usually you play c4 here. Then we kind of get into a Benoni type structure. He played knight c3 though, and There's lots of different ways to play here. I mean, I can play d6, he plays e4, and then we can do like the same exact type stuff. In this case, though, I decided to do knight takes, knight takes, knight c6, bishop g5, f6. If the bishop had gone to f4, I was going to play knight to b4, hitting the queen and the pawn. The queen retreats, I play d5, I play bishop e6, and then my position's pretty good here, I think. Instead, he played bishop d2. I feel like if I play knight b4 now, he probably just gets rid of it and then plays e4. And my pawn is isolated, these are doubled, my bishops aren't very active. Not a huge fan of that position. So instead, I played... Where'd it go? I played queen to b6, hitting the b2 pawn. Next game, if you can, please play Latvian Gambit. Maybe. We'll see. Oh, Papa Wimbe and Jeremy Smith, thanks a lot for the follows. Sorry if I missed you guys a moment ago. Alright, so I'm hitting the b2 pawn here. He decides to castle. I played knight e7. Queen moves, d5. His e4 move is correct here. He should be trying to open up the center against a guy that's not developing very well. I do kind of look kind of silly with my development here. I played bishop e6. If he took, I'd play bishop takes and then get castle. I could actually castle right away here, which is maybe even a little bit better. Oh, Hubert Neutron, thanks a lot for the follow too. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Castling here would also be pretty good for me. I think that even with c4, maybe he gets to guard the pawn though. Maybe I could just play bishop takes. Anyways, he played queen b5 check. We exchanged. I played king f7. He played there. d4, b3, a6, knight c6, e5. Bishop e7 takes. I could have played bishop takes, but I think he just plays check. I take, he takes back. Fairly open position, and he's got the two bishops, which is definitely in his favor a little bit. So I took with the pawn instead. My pawn structure is not the best in the world here, with the two isolated pawns, but I think my pieces are maybe a little bit more active than like his bishop on f1. And XX Spiky, thanks a lot for the follow too. Hope you guys are enjoying it still. He played bishop d3, rook c8, knight h4. This is a good little maneuver here, trying to get onto the f5 square. I go knight e5, bishop to f5, take, rook e8, f4, knight c6, rook e2. There's actually kind of a funny tactic here that he could try. Not that it gets him anywhere special, but he could actually do rook takes e7. If I do rook takes, he plays check and then picks up a rook, and he's up a piece. If I do knight takes, he does the same check and then takes. Pretty much at the end of the day, it's just even material exchange, but it's kind of a cool-looking tactic. He played rook e2. I retreated. We exchange. I played h5, g3, b5, c4, bishop c5, king g6. He should just play g4 here, and I was going to take, and then play like rook h8 and jump into his position. I think black is actually a little bit better here, despite the knight being good. My pieces are pretty good, and my pawns are pretty far advanced. Plus, my rook will be great if it lands back there. Instead, though, he played knight e7, which is just a big mistake, giving me a full piece. And at this point, not too much to say. I played d3, obviously with check and taking the pawn, or a knight d4. He took, I played knight d4 check, the king has to move, and then I come back to pick up the rook, and I'm just up a full rook here, winning pretty easily. Alright, seems like you have a big advantage once you're both in time pressure at this rating level. My goal is not to get into time pressure, but due to commentary, I do sometimes get into some time pressure. As you guys have seen, I lose some games on time. Typically, I play quite a lot faster if I'm not doing commentary, so usually not near as much time trouble, but my opponent should also be aware if they're not the best players in time trouble, as some of these guys just kind of seem to crack under pressure. Okay, let's start another one. We are exactly 1800 right now, so we will look for more games. Don't forget, please, Latvian Gambit. I'm sorry if I'm annoying. I'm trying to kind of do an educational stream here. I kind of prefer not to show people stuff not to play. Really. You guys want the Latvian? Man, I don't know. I'm trying to be educational here. Sorry. All right, so we have Orc Chess again. I feel like we just played this guy, right? That's a very familiar name. I think we literally just played this guy like 3 games ago. He plays d4. We're going to go knight f6. I guess he wants revenge. Unless he was the guy that beat us, then we need the revenge. Have I lost a game besides time yet? I think I've lost, if I'm keeping track, 4 or 5 games total. 4 or 5 games total since I was at 800. So within the past 1,000-point gain, I think I've lost 4 or 5 total. At least three or 4 were on time, and I think one game somebody did legitimately beat me. But I think I also made a couple mistakes along the way. Something like that. Alright, so let me explain this real quick. He's playing the Trumpowski, which is when you play bishop g5 against knight f6. And he's playing kind of a gambit line where he plays e4 and tries to open up the center. He wants me to take, and then I play knight takes. It's definitely possible to do, but it gives him a very big lead in development. I just figured I'd play e3, keep that shut. I'm not up a pawn, or I won't be up a pawn, but at least I'll get to complete my development. So we're just playing c6. We're going to play g6 and bishop f5 pretty soon. Bishop f5 pretty soon. Get in knight to d7, knight to b6. Bishop e6, okay. He could play bishop h6. He's kind of banking everything on a kingside attack here, which is not 100% guaranteed by any means. I could always castle queenside if I want to. So I'm just playing knight to d5, trade off a few pieces maybe. If I play bishop takes, he plays c4, and he does actually get a pretty big attack, so we're going to take this way instead. Next play like queen b6, maybe castle queenside. We might actually keep the king in the center for a little bit. That might actually be okay as well. We're going back to f5. I'm actually not too concerned with losing this bishop. But so I'm going to just play e6 here, I believe. Hey, Mukau Pong 1. Thanks a lot for the follow there, too. Hope you're enjoying it. So we're going to have doubled pawns, but he's going to have 2 bishops in a closed position. Is kind of the downside for him. If I take with the e-pawn, though, he plays like rook e1, and I'm in some trouble. So I got to take with the g-pawn. Looks weird. Definitely looks weird, not going to lie. But I'm going to play queen b6 and castle queenside pretty soon. I'm also going to try to stop him from playing g6. If he plays like rook g1, I'll play rook g8. And I'm probably going to castle queenside, because the king side's not looking too safe. Yeah, so we're going to go rook to g8. Stopping g6. I don't want to let him play g6 easily. I wonder what came to mind the first time. What came to mind first in time pressure? You look very cool in time pressure. Yeah, I've played quite a lot of bullet games, so I'm pretty I'm pretty used to being low on time. And just like Abhi said, my bullet rating is higher than my blitz rating on my main account, which is not how I'd probably want it to be, but it's just kind of how it is, I guess. I've played a lot of bullets, so I'm kind of used to the time pressure factor. Okay, play c4. This is actually kind of annoying. He's playing well here. I could play queen b4 and just try to exchange queens. Could be possible. Bishop to b4 is also not too bad. I think we'll just do that. Just hit the queen, see what he does. Is today Friendly Friday? Like I said earlier, I'm going to have to confirm some things in a little bit. I'll let you know if I'm able to do like the full Friendly Friday in a little bit. You prefer white? Let's see how the game goes then here. I think I'm going to keep my king in the center. It sounds weird, but I think we're going to play rook c8 here. Pin the pawn. If he plays c5... Okay, play c5. I'm going to play queen to c6. I have to retreat this bishop back to c7. Bishop to d3. I don't see any threats just yet. So I think I'm just going to play bishop a5. I'm going to play b6 pretty soon to get rid of the c5 pawn here. Yeah, so we'll go b6. This is so intense. All right, we're taking this. If he takes on f5, I don't have to take back. I'm also just threatening to take the d6 bishop right now. Hey, mixtape 2 fire. How's it going? If he takes back on the c5 square, I'm going to play knight takes c5, and I'm going to just up a pawn, actually. I think that's a good sign for me. Yeah, I think we're okay here. I don't think I'm missing anything. I'm threatening to trade off his light square bishop. I'm also threatening to take the d6 bishop, so I'm going to take here. He's going to check. I'm just going to move up a little bit. And now we're playing queen to b4, offering a queen trade. Objectively, this could be a draw at some point if the rooks all the rooks get exchanged. This is an opposite color bishop type position. But I think I'm a little bit better here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm up a pawn. His pawns over here are on the same color as my bishop, so I can attack them. So I feel like black's actually a little bit better here. White's attack kind of went awry a little bit. I think we'll just retreat. Bishop f4 maybe next move? Or trade and then bishop g3, hit the h4 pawn. Threatening to take f5, definitely can't let him do that for free. Guess we just move. Alright. Just rook c5 here. Double up the rooks on the c-file. He wants to play g6 really badly. I'm going to play bishop e7, so if he plays g6, the h4 pawn is weak. And next I'll play like rook b8 next move, probably. Well, I really needed to play c takes d. Yeah, that would have probably been a bit better, but not the easiest thing in the world because I had the pawn pinned when I played rook c8 earlier. Okay, I guess we're just taking, and then playing bishop takes h4, I think. So we're up 2 pawns now. He's going to get this one. Yeah, let's not lose on time again. That'd be kind of unfortunate. Let's just play rook c7. King d6, keep the bishop guarded. Rook b7, next move to hit the pawn. And then probably king e5 pretty soon. I'm also threatening bishop takes a3. Bishop f6. My king is actually surprisingly safe on the square. King f6. Let's just keep that bishop guarded. Let's just guard that. Actually, let's just trade off the rooks if we can. He doesn't want to. We'll go here. That's fine. Attack the f4 pawn. Take an f4 pawn. Push a pawn. Probably push another pawn. Next move. And now our pawns are just going to kind of rush down the board. Not a whole lot white can do to stop it. Rook d4. Rook to e4. King e5. Rook e3, hit the b pawn. And let's just push the f pawn. Throw a check in there. My a7 pawn is defended by the bishop, so not much he can accomplish there, unfortunately. Trying to promote. I guess we just promote. Yeah, he's done for here. Looks like he's just going to wait out the time, it looks like. Okay. So let's analyze this one. Alright, flip the board. So this is the Trempowski with bishop to g5. This is not the most popular opening in the world, but definitely a legitimate choice. The idea is to maybe trade the knight and then play e4. I decide on the line with knight e4. He plays bishop f4, and he goes into this kind of gambit line with e4. I take. He plays knight c3. Now I can take f3. He'll play knight takes. This is objectively a little bit better for black because I am up a pawn, but white has very good development. This is kind of like a Smith-Morra gambit version of like d4. Kind of the same exact thing. e4, c5, d4, take c3. This is d4, d5, e4, kind of similar to that. I could play this, but it's a little bit risky. Instead, I just decide to give the pawn back. The downside for white in this kind of situation is now the knight cannot get to f3 because he played f3. So he gets the pawn back. I get my bishop activated. Knight d7, g4, bishop e6. I played h5. This isn't necessary either, I suppose. But it does kind of lock the king side up a little bit. Takes. Knight e2 is a good move, going for knight f4. If I just continue with bishop g7, he goes knight f4. I can't move the bishop because then he grabs this pawn. And it's kind of awkward. I don't really want to get doubled e-pawns. So I have to play like queen b6. He takes, I take, he plays bishop h3. This is pretty uncomfortable for black. I'm not really enthusiastic about black's position here. Instead, I played bishop f5. I'm okay with getting the f-pawns doubled because it is a closed position and the knight is not too bad here. Rook g1, he wants to play g6, opening it up a bit. I play rook g8, king to b1. In hindsight, maybe stopping c4 should be a priority. Maybe queen to c7 is a good move. Or rook to c8 to stop c4. But I did queen b6, he played c4. I played bishop to b4, queen c2, rook c8, not giving him time to take the pawn. He played c5, I played queen c6. I also have to be a little bit careful here too. If I play, well, I guess I could do queen d8, and then if he goes here, I retreat, he keeps pushing. This is also maybe not super awesome for me. So instead, I played queen c6, bishop d3. I get this bishop retreated a little bit. I play b6 to kind of crack this a little, get rid of the c5 pawn. Bishop d6, not really good, just does kind of give me a free pawn there. And especially in this endgame, I feel now that we've gotten queens off the board, I'm not really afraid of anything at this point. I'm up a pawn, but I do have doubled pawns. So it's still fairly equal here, I'd say. He just kind of, I think he thinks that his position is better than it actually is, and he loses the h4 pawn as well. He does pick the h5 pawn up. I can't really stop that one. I attack the pawn, get my king activated, and then I just try to eventually trade off a pair of rooks, win another pawn, and then just kind of start pushing the pawns down the board. It's over at this point. I'm just up a full piece, and I'm just going to push the f pawn and win the game. So, whenever I see a GM game, I usually come across weird openings. I just keep wondering why do they open so weirdly and still come to a conclusion. Sometimes it depends on the Grandmaster you're watching. Some are very creative type players that don't like to play mainstream openings. You can still play weird openings and come to positions that look familiar, that have familiar patterns in your mind. It also depends on the player, though. Some people are going to play, some Grandmasters only play mainstream openings. Others play, for example, like Nakamura sometimes plays kind of odd openings every now and then. Joe Bava plays pretty weird openings almost all the time, honestly. Depends on the player, what kind of weird stuff they might come up with. All right, so we're up to 1808. Let's seek another. And once again, in the meantime, we will watch Tampa Chess, a resident Floridian. Looks like he's going to lose here, though. Yeah, so it looks like Tampa Chess loses this one. Are they playing again? What's the goal rating for today? I'd like to get 1900, but we'll see. I'm at 1808, so I need 92 points in about an hour and 15 minutes. That's probably a little bit tough. If I can get close to 1900, I'll be happy. And I did lose one game today, so I could be a little bit higher if I'd won that one. We'll see. Not really any specific goal, though, but I'd like to get somewhat close to 1900 if I could. I guess they're not playing again, so we'll watch Joey versus Fabi again. Fabi, a new player. Don't recognize this name. Let me pull this up. When did he make this account? Oh, he's had the account for a while. So not necessarily new. But pretty good Blitz rating. Interesting. Okay, we have a game against Santosian. Playing black. We're going to open with... let's go back to D4 for this one. He looks like the guy in The Big Bang Theory. He's definitely an interesting guy. Alright, so you go C5. Let's go with Knight F3. Take. He might be one of those guys that plays the E5 move here. Oh, okay, maybe not. So we're going to go Knight C3. We're going to try to play E4 next move. Get a... now it's kind of like the white side of a Sicilian defense. I think we're going to play F4, maybe? Maybe. Maybe not. Let's play A3 first. Slow down bishop to B4. We might play F4 next move, or maybe G3 is a little safer. Let's go G3. I think G3 is no problem. We can't put the bishop on G2 just yet because he picks up the C4 pawn, but now we can put the bishop on G2 with no trouble. Bishop goes to G2. If he takes C4, we have like knight to D5, which is very bad for him. What do I think of GM Navarra? Strong player. Don't really have any particular feeling or thinking in regards to him specifically. I think I'm just going to play B3 here. Seems okay. Maybe H3 and F4 pretty soon. We'll see. Queen to A5, hitting the A3 pawn. Not the easiest pawn in the world to defend. I think we have to play A4, as ugly as it looks. It's pretty ugly, though. I don't really want to play it. Is there anything different? I think we have to, though. Yeah, it's not a very pretty looking move. We're just going to castle next move, most likely. Could you recommend a chess book for middle games? I suck at them, especially in complex positions where you don't know what to do. Depends on your level. What's your level, Mohit? I think I've played you before. I don't remember what your rating was. I'd say Reassess Your Chess by Jeremy Silman or The Amateur's Mind by Jeremy Silman. I do have a copy of each of them. Those are both definitely good middle game books to kind of start off with, for sure. For a 1050 rating, I think those could still be okay books to start off with. This knight g4 move's a little annoying. I can't play bishop d2 because of knight d3 check. So I think I have to play bishop d or bishop f4. I would love to castle next move. He lets me castle, I'll be a happy camper. Or play h3. If he plays g5, that's actually a little annoying. g5 is not a bad move at all here. It would force me to take his knight on e5, pretty much. At least I'm ahead on time a little bit. That's a good sign. Okay, there's the g5. I guess he's a mind reader. I think we pretty much have to take the knight. If we go to d2, he gets knight d3 check, and that's really bad. So we got to take this. He'll take back with the knight. We are threatening to take it. And I think we just get castle. If we get to play f4, then we're back to being pretty good. F4 is a little bit harder now, though. F4, he just takes. I think we're playing h3 here. Now we're going to play queen to d2. I'd love to play queen h6 and then attack the h5 pawn. Okay, king g7 stops queen h6. He's playing pretty well up to this point as far as I can tell. I do think now we are going to play f4 though. We kind of got to go for an attack here. Open things up. We are ahead in development. His bishop on c8 is not developed, and our king is a little safer than his, in my opinion. If he just decides to move the knight, then we're going to be happy as well. He could check and pick up the b3 pawn. Yeah, is he going to play bishop g5? Oh, that's annoying. Alright. Yeah, he's going to play bishop g5. Alright, I guess we're checking. If he plays e5, we're just going to give up the exchange and then plop our knight on the d5 square. What's the difference between USCF and FIDE? Not a whole lot. I think it's about 100 points from what I've heard. We're losing the exchange here. Not really much we can do about it, but we will have a nice square for the knight on d5, at the very least. At the very least. We also have queen g5 check threatened. So his king is actually not very safe. Queen g5 and then rook f6 will checkmate him. So he plays f6 to stop that. This guy's definitely on top of the threats in the position. I think we're playing knight d5 now. Knight takes f6 is a threat, maybe. Take queen g5 check, rook g6, queen e7 check, king g8. It almost works. I wish it did. So for that reason, we're going to retreat and then reposition a little bit. I want to play h4 and bishop h3 at some point. If I can get rid of this bishop, then this knight will become a monster. 100% monster. The question is it that easy? I'm going to kind of go all out for it. If I lose a couple pawns, we are very low on time. If I lose a couple pawns for it, I need to get rid of this bishop. So I'm going to take. If the queen takes, I'll play king h2 and bishop h3. Will you ever see a super talent break the 3,000 rating, or is that plain impossible? Kind of like what StarCraft just said, you have to have other people around that rating to reach that rating. So if everybody progressively starts getting better and better, and you get some 2900s that are around there, then yeah, then it'll definitely be possible. But at the moment, I don't see it being something that's going to happen. Queen A2, this is quite annoying. If he plays Rook B2, I'm kind of sad. Yeah, I'm kind of sad. Okay, I guess we're playing Queen here. Maybe Queen A7 check. I don't know. Take, take. Knight E3 to F5. Alright, I guess we're going full endgame mode. Actually, this could be a draw. With correct play, Rook A3, take, 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 take. This should actually be a draw here. He gets E4, I get D6. This should objectively be a draw. From what I can tell. Actually, is there a chance of me winning this? I don't think so. This should be a draw, though. I'm just going to offer the draw. He has to play F4, obviously. Even if he wins this pawn, there's no way he can promote, so this is just a draw. I'm just going to stay in front of the rook pawn. Yeah, so he offered the draw. Okay. So let's analyze this one. He played the opening pretty well. Better than I did. The opening goes fine. Rook C1, Bishop G2, B3. His Queen A5 move is actually pretty good because it forces me to play A4. His Knight G4 move also on top of that is pretty good because I have to play Bishop F4. And then his G5 move is pretty good, which forces me to take, take. And now I'm stuck with a bad bishop behind all of these pawns. If I could get an F4, it would also be nice, but he plays G4 to stop that. So this guy was on top of things for sure here. Played very well for Santosian here. H3. I would love him to take, and then I could play F4 later, and then at least have a kingside attack. Instead, he played H5. I played Queen D2, King G7. He even stops the Queen H6 move that I wanted to play. Queen H6 to attack the pawn, maybe. King G7, F4. Take, 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 take. Bishop G5, skewering my queen and rook. I played the check here so I can at least give myself the knight on the D5 square. Excuse me. Lose the exchange. Queen G5 check is a big threat. If he plays Bishop E6, I have checkmate unstoppable. He plays F6 to stop that check, seeing all the threats, which is very good for him. Knight D5, Bishop E6, Knight E3. I don't really want to let him do Bishop takes Knight. This is definitely my best piece, and this Bishop on G2 is pretty horrid. If he can get rid of my Knight, I've really got no chance in this game, so I have to keep the Knight at all costs type thing. B5. I don't really want to exchange and give him the open file very easily. I figured the only way I can win this game, or probably draw this game, is if I get rid of this bishop and then get a knight on F5 or something like that. So I play H4, take, 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 King H2, wanting to play Bishop H3, Rook B8, Bishop H3. Check is very annoying. I can't retreat or else he grabs the piece for free. So I had to play Knight G2, Rook B2. I can't take the bishop again because of Rook takes here and I get checkmated. So I played Queen G1 to guard the knight. He took. I don't think he needed to exchange the rook for knight here. He's not, like we saw, it was just a draw. It's not completely winning. But it is a little bit scary if he allows the knight onto D5 or onto F5. But I think he's better here. Maybe just, I don't know, Rook B8, Knight E3, and then like Rook to B3. Because even if I get the check, I move. I don't have... Well, maybe I have check here. That's kind of a sticky situation, maybe. At the end of the day, he does give up the exchange. He's up a pawn right now, but I can. It's very important here. Also, I'm down a pawn, and I need to have my rook as active as possible. If I play Rook C3 and I just passively defend the pawn, I should probably lose this game. He'll play a5. I walk over a4. Actually, probably just walks his king over. He plays like he can start attacking my g3 pawn, and it's hard for me to defend. He can start pushing pawns. He can play f5. This is very tough for me to defend, in my opinion. I have to go kind of active here. I played rook a3 to attack the a6 pawn. Take, 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 take. And this should really objectively be drawn like we saw, especially at this point. We're back even in material, and there's just no way he can win this position. Even though he's up a pawn, there's no way he can force the pawn to promote. Alright, so we get a draw there. It's not a bad result considering how the game looked at one point. Ratings are based on how many people are in the system, so if we get more people in the FIDE rating system, 3,000 will easily be possible. Not necessarily. If you have a ton of 1,000 rated players, I don't think 3,000 becomes easier, but you have to have, it's kind of like rating, pretty much like rating inflation almost. You know, people, the higher everybody at the top starts getting, the much easier it becomes, or the easier it becomes to hit 3,000. We got it. I mean, we haven't even seen 2,900 yet, though, so it's hard to start thinking about 3,000 at the moment. It also states how relevant chess ratings are in 20 years. If the top players are like 4,000, then how good is 2,700? Yeah, that's definitely part of it. And then 2,700 at that point wouldn't be anything special if 4,000 was the Grandmaster, you know, the ultimate Grandmaster level. What is ELO in chess? ELO is just your rating, your numerical rating. Pretty much between 0 and, right now the highest one is like 2,870 or something like that. Carlsen's like 2,850-ish or somewhere around there. ELO? Yeah, so like Bad Luck just said there, it's a rating system made by RPAD ELO, or ELO. However you say that, ELO, ELO, not really sure. He's the guy that made the rating system, though, so they give him the ELO name. Alright, so let's look for another game. We're up to... We got a draw there, so we're at 18-11. We'll seek another. And we got another. We got Bruce Roberts here as white. Plays e4. We're going to play... we're going to stick with the Sicilian right now. Play c5. His peak was 2,882. Yeah, he's definitely been pretty close to 2,900, honestly. So this is kind of like a close Sicilian so far. I'm going to play knight to d4. Now I'm going to take it. I'm going to play d5. Interesting. Usually they take the pawn. Usually they take the pawn. Interesting. I think we're going to play a6, just kick the knight back. This might look pretty weird right now, but I'm actually thinking I'm just going to grab the knight and then mess up his pawn structure pretty bad. I'm kind of curious how this endgame would go. If he takes back with the pawn, he'll have doubled isolated c-pawn. So knight g5 is probably the better way to go, but he will be down a pawn here. So that's what's going on. 1881 is the ELO of a Quest ELO 22. Yeah, I'm at 1811 right now. At the moment. Alright, I think we're just going to... I think we just grab the pawn. Play bishop f5 and attack this pawn. We're gonna exchange. Play knight f6. We're up a pawn right now, and our bishop's better. We are missing our fianchetto g7 bishop, but we're going to get castled, and I think we're pretty safe here, in my opinion. Do we need to castle just yet? I don't know. Do we need to? I think we'll just centralize the queen. Yeah, this is a bit different than the actual like over the board ELO rating here on chess.com. You're asking about the free coaching in July? All right, let me link it in the chat here again. So The free coaching in July comes from the chess.com University coaching program that we have. We're doing kind of a give back to the community type thing during July, where we're giving everybody like a free month of coaching. A free month of group coaching is what we're doing right now. So actually, I could have taken the rook in exchange. I think this is okay too, though. Pretty much is group coaching during the weekends throughout the month of July, in order to, let's play bishop e4 to annoy that knight. In order to help everybody improve at chess is the idea. Pretty much no matter what your rating is, there are 5 different rating classes that are in the group coaching at the moment. From 0 rated to 500, from 500 to 900. We pick up the d4 pawn here for free, it looks like. From like 900 to 1200, from 1200 to 1600, and then 1600 to 1900, I think, are the gaps. I could be a little bit off on that, but that's what it is at the moment, I believe. Alright, he's attacking the e6 pawn, or the e7 pawn. Do we care that much is the question? We're going to go attack the g2 pawn. If he takes e7, we're getting g2, and his king's not the safest in the world. I think we just grabbed this one. I think we just grab here. Group coaching, I'll pass. Well, it's free. I mean, you can't really lose. Ooh, I missed that one. He's gonna play knight f6 check and fork the stuff. I can play here though. Check. King f2, and now I just play here. So I'm up 3 pawns right now. Got to be a little bit careful about the f7 or b7 pawns. I'll probably play bishop a2 takes a2 pretty soon. Yeah, I think we're just going to grab that. He'll get b7. But now I can play... like rook d8 right now and get my rook active. After I register for the free coaching, should I expect a mail right away or soon? It won't come right away. It will come pretty soon. The chess.com University president, Kairab Joshi, he's the one that is handling the emails that'll get to you guys regarding a little bit more information about the program, about the free coaching month. He's supposed to be mailing people by the end of June at the latest. It doesn't start until July 11th, I believe. So you're not gonna miss anything if you don't get an email within a day or two or something like that. You'll be getting them not too much of a delay. Alright, so we're going to start kind of going for like a checkmate attack here. Hit the knight on e3. Play bishop to e6. Wow, that's a big blunder. Oh my goodness. Why did I do that? He just takes the rook. For some reason, I just... Okay. That's really weird. For some reason, I'm not entirely sure why. For some reason, I'm not entirely sure why. After he played king d3, for some reason my brain just shut off and I did not realize the rook was attacked. And then he resigns right after bishop e6. So he doesn't even know he can take the rook. Okay, that was really weird. I have no idea. I don't... This is not rigged. I want to let you guys know it's not rigged. We're both just complete idiots at the moment. So, not a math addict. Thanks a lot for the follow. Hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, that's really weird. I'm not entirely sure how we both just blundered like that, back to back. I didn't pay him anything. I didn't pay him anything. I would have to pay somebody quite a lot to just not take a completely free rook when they're down 3 pawns in a losing position. That was really weird. Report for win trading. I'm not sure what happened there. I even said in chat right after that, king takes e2, question mark. Yeah, we're both terrible, apparently. Okay, so the opening is kind of like a closed Sicilian to a degree. Knight d4, take, knight d5. This is all kind of mainline stuff. Oh, 90% Jesus. Thanks a lot for the follow too. This is all kind of mainline opening stuff. He's supposed to take the pawn. I play a6. He retreats. I play knight f6. He plays d4. I play c4, and then I get the pawn back. That's kind of usually what happens. That's the main line. His d3 move is kind of peculiar. Never seen this particular move in this situation before. I played a6. He retreats. Bishop takes c3. Maybe not the best move in the world, but it does kind of clarify the situation on the board. Takes. If he takes here, I do, of course, trade. I probably have the better in-game chances here because of the doubled isolated c-pawns. I just play knight f6, knight e4, bishop f5, something like that maybe, attack this pawn. Oh, oops, I just missed one. Thanks a lot for the follow, JC King. JC King, I think I just missed yours. Sorry about that. Instead, though, he played knight g5. This allows me to be up a pawn. Bishop f5, we trade some more. Queen d5, rook d8, get castle. So I'm already up a pawn. He has a bad bishop. Now I'm just going to focus on trying to win the d4 pawn. Knight g4, attacking the defender of the d4 pawn. Knight f3 guards that, so if I take here, I'm not necessarily winning anything. I played bishop e4. Now the threat is to take the knight first, and then take the bishop. He played knight e5. Now I can take. I'm up 2 pawns. Now we exchange the g-pawn for the e-pawn. His king is not very safe. Turkish, oh man, Kurasier? Kurasier. Sorry about pronouncing that wrong. Thanks for the follow as well. King f1, pick up another pawn. So I'm up 3 pawns right now. I should not lose this unless I make a terrible blunder. Even if I make a terrible blunder, my opponent has to spot it, apparently. So that's kind of funny. Yes, I love people having trouble pronouncing that. Yeah, that's an interesting second word there. So bishop d5, knight g4, check there, king g7, knight e3, takes, rook there. We just get the king safe, keep the king advanced, check him, rook e2. Obviously, I can just play rook here, and this is pretty easily winning. Not sure why I played bishop e6, and I'm not sure why he resigned and didn't just take the rook. That was really weird. It's French? Okay, maybe I need to look this up. Cavalry equipped with armor and firearms, first appearing in the late 15th century Europe. Cool, I learn something new every day. Awesome. Okay, so I'm not sure why white didn't just take the rook. And instead of just not even taking the rook, he just flat out resigned. Maybe he thought for some reason, oh, there's no way I can stop him from taking the knight, but you can just take the rook. That's really weird. That doesn't happen every day. Becarners, thanks a lot for the follow too. Okay. So that's kind of a series of unfortunate events for 2 people. Alright, so let's look for another game here. We're up to 18-20. 80 points in about 50 minutes. Maybe. We'll see. Depends on if we get enough games. And don't make stupid blunders. Could you play aggressively, please? If so, the Danish for if white, Latvian for black. Play the Danish. Okay, I can play the Danish. That's actually somewhat legit. The Latvian's very risky, but I can play the Danish. If I get white here, I'll play e4 and go for it. Okay. We got Santosian again. We just drew this guy a moment ago. Maybe this one will go better. I played an f6 and he played bishop g5. Oh, excuse me. He played the Trapowski against me, knight f6, bishop g5 before. Let's vary it a little bit. And now we're going to go e6. Have you ever got to a point where 100 games before... Have you got to a point where 100 games before you were blundering a lot, and 100 games after that you were like, kind of stop blundering stuff? Once you kind of get to a decent level at chess, you kind of stop blundering stuff. Aside from really weird blunders like that. That was really weird. That was just like a mutual oversight. Kind of like two monkeys or something like that, just completely missing stuff. I don't know what happened that game. I'm not going to do 10 minutes per game Adpide, just because I want to try to get as many games as possible here. I'm going to try to play a little bit aggressively, maybe. You know, lining up against his king, something like that. A6, going for b5. Now, knight d7. I'm 1900 still blundering stuff? Yeah, it happens at all levels, unfortunately. Let's go 95. Queen to e7. Queen to f8. This looks weird, but I want to play h6 and kick his bishop around without letting him play bishop h6. So h6 myself. And now g5. Let's go for that aggressive route. g5 looks fun. We're going to play knight g6. Knight h5, and then into f4 maybe. We might also play f5 here to attack. Is there any way to make this really interesting? What could I do really, really interesting here? Let's go bishop e5. Actually, we're going to go bishop d7 first. Aronian blundered badly. Hammer blunders. Yeah, if Carlsen blunders versus my blunders, I blunder rooks for nothing. He blunders, you got to actually see something to see what he's blundering. I'd love to play f5, but he just takes it, and then I take back, and he plays g4. You know what? Screw it, we're going for it. If he plays g4, I'll take on f3, and then we're going to have some fun here. Let's go for the aggressive stuff. g4, I take f3. If he doesn't play g4, then I just retreat the queen. We're going to be down a piece, but it looks kind of fun, so that's why we're going for it. So the king side, white's king side is completely open. Knight h4 to f3 is big. Knight e5 to f3 is big. Bishop e5 is pretty big. So what's he going to do? I think bishop e5 immediately is good. Alright, now we're playing knight to... I think knight h4 is okay. Yeah, we're going knight h4. So maybe we're taking the knight and playing rook f8, something like that. I don't really want to exchange queens, but I do have, what do I have here? 4, 6, I got 2 pawns for the piece, which, okay, this knight g4 doesn't seem good at all. I think we're just getting another pawn here at least. Yeah, knight f3 is a big threat right now because of the pin. If you wanted aggressive chess, this is about as aggressive as it gets. Rook f8, I think. Cut the king off a little bit. Next, we might play queen g3, and then queen h2 is going to be very tough to stop. I see high-rated players kind of stop making the dumb blunders. Well, they're high-rated for a reason. 94 is a bit annoying. I wanted to play queen g3. Maybe queen g3 first was better in hindsight. Probably. Oh well. Actually, I can still do knight f3. Yeah. Rook takes f3 is forced, and then I'll play rook takes f3. I'm also now threatening to take the knight. We're up the exchange. We're also threatening to take the bishop, and then bishop d4. Yeah, white's in a lot of trouble here. Knight f2 is probably his only move, but then I still play queen g3, and he's kind of lost. So you guys asked for aggressive chess. This is pretty high up there in the aggression factor. Queen e2 is a reasonable move, but he's still going to end up... We just take e3, right? Just take e3? No, we don't take e3. Ooh, that's super tricky. If I take e3, queen takes, and then bishop to d4, he takes it, I take back, and he has knight f6. Ooh, that'd be really bad. So I think we're just exchanging at this point. King takes, and then rook f8 check. At the end of the day, it's he has two pieces against the rook, but I do have a couple pawns. I'm up, let's see, 3, 6. I'm up 3 pawns, and then it's a rook versus 2 pieces. So still an interesting position, for sure. I think we'll just check, see what happens. Just another check. I'm actually not entirely sure what to do here, oddly enough. I'm just going to go king g7. We need to do some moves to get up on the clock a bit. Still a tough position for white, I want to say. Like, this bishop isn't doing much. The knight isn't doing a whole lot. My bishop on e5 is good, but I don't really want to trade it off. I really don't want to have the two pieces versus a rook. Unless I know I can push these kingside pawns. But that's, oh, that's just a big blunder. Okay. That's a big one there. Yeah, he just gives up a full piece. Okay, so let's analyze this one. Alright, flip the board. So the opening is the modern Benoni. G6, bishop G7, castles, rook E8, A6, A4, knight D7, knight G3, knight E5, bishop E7. The whole idea of this opening is that white has, white has more space, if I can make highlights correctly. White has more space in the center, but black has pretty good piece play, especially the bishop on G7 is very good. We have 2 nice knights in the center. And I'm going to try to counterattack white's center for the most part. In this version, I decide to go for a piece sacrifice. Not necessary to do. I mean, I could have done knight e5 first and then played f5, which would have avoided giving up a piece. Actually, that still would have lost a piece. Maybe knight f4 first and then... maybe I could have done this and then f5. But I figured you guys wanted some aggression, so we'll go with the piece sacrifice. We get 2 pawns for the piece, and definitely white's king is completely open here. Knight h4 to f3 is a big threat. Bishop g2, bishop e5, threatening to take that. h3, making another attack. Knight g4. This wasn't very good in my opinion. We have 3 pawns for the piece at this point. He played rook f1. In hindsight, queen g3 looks like it probably wins immediately. It's very tough to stop queen h2. And then pretty much anything he does, I get the g2 bishop. Actually, even better here is just bishop g3, which is mate. That's kind of a cool-looking mate. So queen g3 right away would have been much better. I don't think there's any way to deal with queen h2 and then take g2 that I can see. If he goes here, it's the same exact thing. That's completely losing. So queen g3 would have been the best move. Rook f8, and then he plays knight e4. That stops queen g3, which is kind of annoying. But I could have also played rook f3, threatening to take the knight. And if the knight moved, then play queen g3. That would have been pretty fancy looking. So maybe rook f3 is better than knight f3. Because with knight f3, he's definitely giving up the exchange, but I kind of liked my knight involved in the attack. Now it's just two pieces against the rook, and it's not the clearest position in the world. After rook f1, I cannot take this bishop and then play bishop d4. This definitely looks good for me, but he takes the bishop and then plays knight f6 check, and I'm just completely busted at this point. So that's definitely a no-no. I traded, played rook f8, played a couple checks, played king g7, kind of just like a waiting move, just seeing what white's going to do from here. And he ends up making the big blunder. I pick up a piece. I feel like it's a fairly, I wouldn't say even, but it's a tricky position to play when you're low on time for white. Also for black. But I do think like it's probably a little easier for black to play because white has to make sure all of his stuff's defended, and we know that all his black stuff is defended pretty well. So definitely a fun position here. Man, lots of chat here. I've seen plenty of 1,000 plus game 1200s. Don't know if everyone gets better. 1900 blundered. He had a minute. Yep. Thinking maybe I should just focus on reading a chess book. 1900 blundered a bishop. Like, just didn't realize it was defended. Yep. Alright, so let me look for another game here. We are 1831. So 70 points in about 35 minutes. It's about 2 points a minute. 2.5 points a minute. Could be possible if I get some higher rated opponents. If I get to play like a 2,000 rated guy, it's possible. If I get to play e4 Mohit, if I can play e4 and they'll play e5, I'll go for the Danish. But I can't. Unfortunately, I can't guarantee the opening to happen. It's black kind of has to play along with it, but we can definitely try. All right, so we're white here against Ladash. We're going e4 just for you guys. If they play e5. See, I can't control it, unfortunately, guys. What gambit line could I try in the Caro-Kann? What gambit line? Don't really know of one. Well, let's go like d4. Let's just do normal stuff. No one does Danish at that level? What's this? Ask me how to get free chess coaching. Alright, if you're interested in the chess coaching here, the black DMR. Alright, we'll do that. We'll do some kind of form of that. If he takes the pawn, I'll play f3. Alright, we're doing like a form of a gambit type idea here. Alright, if you're interested in the chess coaching, the free chess coaching during the month of July, fill out this form here. I'll kind of put a couple links here. Fill out that form. The free chess coaching during the month of July is based on, I'm not sure if B3 or D3 is better. It's okay. I guess I'll just castle. The free chess coaching during the month of July is pretty much the chess.com university group on chess.com giving back to the chess community. Completely free during July. Coaching from Grandmasters, FIDE Masters. Myself, I'm one of the lead instructors for the program. There's also International Masters as well, I believe. So lots of different people coaching, and you're getting it for free during the month of July. Yeah, free. Yep, free. During like August and future months, it will cost $35 a month, but during July, we're doing it for free. Pretty much the chess.com university president, Kairav Joshi, has kind of waived all the fees pretty much for everybody. We're just trying to give back to the community as much as we can for the month. Playing c4, the knight's going to move, and then I'm going to play knight f4. Trying to get aggressive here, if we can. Yeah, let's just keep the aggression up. We're going g4. All right, we're going probably g5. I think we're going to take f7 next move. I think that works. Take f7? Do I take f7, guys? It's the coaching is live coaching, live stream coaching where you can ask questions during the classes, during the lectures. It's very much involved with the students. It's not just us sending you video recordings and you just watch them yourself. Not like that at all. It's definitely coaching in the sense that you can communicate with the coach. It's not one-on-one. That is a little bit of the drawback, but it is group coaching and it's free. So I mean, you know, why not go for it? Yeah, take on f7 and c5. Yep, that's exactly the way to go. And black is completely busted here. We just take here with the discovered check on the king. And we just go right back, I believe. And then 96 is very tough. How many in one group? Did I miss 96? He does king takes, queen check, and bishop f5, though. He has bishop f5. I think you're missing the bishop f5 move. 96 takes, queen g4, bishop f5. How many in one group? There are 5 different groups based on rating range right now. I think bishop c2 just is good here. If he takes it, I got 96. Back further instead of c5? I'll look at it after the game. I might have missed some funny brilliancy or something. I think that Kairev said that like 2,000 people have signed up so far. I believe. But that's split between the 5 groups, and it's 2,000 people split between. So maybe like an average of 400 per group is what it sounds like. We're going queen to... I don't want to miss... Oh, God. If I lose on time, I'm going to cry, though. The 96 is almost checkmate. Actually, queen check there, check there. I have checkmate in... Okay. I think we just take. And then play king h1. Rook g1 is kind of unstoppable, from what I see. Rook takes g7 is unstoppable. I guess knight c7, but we're just going to take it. Or queen c7, we just take it. Not losing this one on time. I have to take because of the pin. I could have played bishop h6. Maybe that was even better. We're going back here. Queen here. Bishop takes h6, probably also better again. Yeah, I'm not. There's an increment, so I'm not losing on time this one, guys. I'm not messing up this this nice attack. I'd be very sad at that point. Queen h6 if he moves the king. Okay. So, a pretty fun game, actually. I do feel like I might have missed something there. 96. You guys are saying 96. I must have missed something. So this is kind of what not to do as black. He's way behind on development. This is kind of the downside of accepting these gambits. G4, bishop e4, G5, move, take, 96 here. I think it's the same exact thing still. He gets out. He just barely gets out. It looks very fun, but I do think he just barely gets out, and he's actually up a piece right now. And I don't see any kind of immediate checkmate is the problem. If I move, he just plays bishop g7, and I'm actually kind of flipped on the... I'm flipped on the defensive now all of a sudden. You're definitely thinking right, though. 96 would be definitely an awesome move if it worked out there. C5 check, definitely safe, though. If the king moves, this is definitely going to be checkmate soon. This is terrible for black. So he pretty much has to play... Oops, he has to play knight d5. The bishop can unfortunately always come back to f5, and the knight can always sacrifice itself on e5. I wish it worked. I wish it did. That would have been really nice to see. We take, move, go back. We got our piece back, and it's just a completely crushing position. Bishop f5, bishop c2. I just want to get rid of this guy because then 96 is going to be a very nice square. I played queen h5, threatening 96. He can't really stop 96 anyways. I could have done that first. If I do 96 first, though, he goes here, and then I have to... I guess I could play like queen b3, and that's pretty good. But I did queen h5 first, knight f6. Check move, take king there, threatening mate. Block there, there. In hindsight, maybe, I don't know, bishop e3 probably just wins right away. If he takes, this is still mate. If he takes here, there's no way to stop the mate. Bishop e3 would be the better way instead of bishop h6 because this check makes us get pinned, and he survives for at least one other move. So bishop e3 would have been the best move there in hindsight. I took the queen, though. I mean, it's you're winning the game anyways, and we just eventually win the game. All right, very fun game. Taking on f7, very fun idea here in this position. Hey, NJ. How should one take advantage of lead in development? I know it varies from situation to situation, but what should one look for if he has the advantage? This game is kind of a showcase of that. White has a very big lead in development, and I'm just pressuring black a lot of different moves. For example, let's say all the way back to here. I'm attacking his knight. I'm attacking his bishop. He probably doesn't want to have double e-pawns. I attack his bishop again. I attack his knight. Boom, there goes the big tactic. And he's lost at that point. It's not always going to be this easy. I mean, every single one of these moves just kind of happen to link together pretty well. And also, in hindsight, I mean, at the end of the day, he should just go back here. This would have been the best way, but it would have also been a lot less fun for me. Because now if I take, the F file's not open yet. His knight's in the way. So it wouldn't work out as well. But yeah, you always want to, when you have the lead in development, you always want to pressure your opponent as much as you can. Try to use that lead in development to attack them at all costs, kind of. How do you know when to undermine your own king defense in favor of an offense? The thing is, when I play g4, for example, here, it is undermining my king a bit, but there's really no way for him... I'm going to get at his king before he can get at my king, is the main thing. He's not going to have the chance to attack my king because I'm the one on the aggressive every move here. Notice how my king is open here, but throughout the game, I mean, my king is technically open if you think about it at this point. You know, no pawns in front of the king, but black has no chance to attack me. There's just no time to do it. So it's kind of about timing, and if you can attack your opponent quicker than they can attack you. Oh, thanks, it's right. Okay, so we're up to 1840. Let's look for another. If we can keep playing games like that, we might hit 1900 a day. That was a fun one. The game before that was a fun one. We put two aggressive games back to back. The Danish, I have to be white, and I have to get them to play e5 and actually go with the gambit. So I'll try to do a couple gambit lines here for the last couple games today. They definitely are fun to watch. I can definitely agree with that. They're fun to play too. That's also part of it. So I got a text from a friend that's watching right now, and they're probably still watching. I'm just going to show it because I know they're watching. This is, if they can see the picture. Oh god, I'm so bad at naming things. I think it's The Simpsons, and he's yelling out nerd. So, that's what they think. That's a friend watching, so that's for you. That's for you, Danielle. That was also 2 hours ago I got that text, so they're definitely not watching anymore. Okay, so we got... Okay, I guess we don't. Like Chessing does not want to play. So we're going to go back in the pool, looking for a game. All right. I guess at the moment we will observe a game. Back to Fabi and GM Joey. D4 E4 is what you wanted? Yeah, they've been playing. This is 16 games they've played so far. Pretty back and forth, 9-7. Looks like knight takes E4 just wins pawn. Excuse me. Sometimes, do I like the fried liver? Lots of people tend to like that opening. All right, we're gonna go with the Danish here, though. Let's see if Lu La Lili plays E6. Okay. What's an aggressive line against the French defense? I don't typically play E4, so I'm also trying to kind of remember on the spot some aggressive lines. Let's go D4. I think we'll try to make something happen, regardless of if it's like a gambit line or not. Let's go knight D2. F4. I'll try to gambit something in this game. I'll tell you that. I'll try to gambit something. All right, we're gonna see if we can even just gambit D5 at some point, just to make it happen. C6, get castled. It's hard to gambit when they trade off your pieces. It's no fun. I do already like White's position though. Definitely good attacking chances already. Two bishops aiming toward the king side. Just play H3. They're gonna castle queen side. Oh, maybe not. So we're gonna do rook E1 and knight E5 probably. We're gonna try to get the aggression going here. Bishop F4 next move most likely, or bishop to G5. See, they want to trade stuff off, and it's no fun. It's just no fun to trade everything off. So we're gonna take. I guess I could have played like bishop A4. I don't think that works though. Knight takes. Alright, we're playing D5. If they take the pawn, we're going to give up the queen for the two rooks. Yeah, we'll just play bishop D2. We'll play bishop C3 next move, kind of like a pseudo fianchetto almost. I'm still not worried about them taking, because I'm still going to give up the queen for the two rooks. Bishop A4 is also possible. Queen G4 is probably my next move. Queen G4 to threaten G7. Bishop A4 might have been better first. Let's see, though. Queen G4. See what he does. Knight G6, probably. And then I'll play like H4, most likely. Knight G6, H4. If G6, that definitely, I'll play like Queen G5, and he'll have some big problems. F5, I guess, is possible. F5. But then I can take on E6, I think. I think that works out. Ooh, okay. So this is not... I don't think this is very good for black here. So queen to G5, I believe. Queen F6, if I can get that in next move, definitely a checkmate. If queen to E7, we even just have bishop to F6 would have been possible. So we're playing queen here. Threatening mate on G7. He has to play F6. f6 is pretty much absolutely forced here. So it feels like there should be something very strong here. So I can just take e6, knight takes, and then bishop takes g6. Take e6, knight takes, bishop takes g6. Seems reasonable. Takes, bishop takes. Feels like it should be the way to go. Rook lift and sack on g6. I think we're going to sack immediately. I think it works out here. Knight takes, bishop takes, take, check, and then we'll lift to e4 and then h4. King, or I guess... the queen can go to f5, which is a little annoying. I'm just going to work e3. If he plays queen f5, not really much I can do. I'll just retreat to g3. Or actually just h6, I guess, is maybe a little better. Yeah, this should be fine. Rook g3 next move. Move pawn up. I don't want to play g4. That does open my king up a little bit too much in my opinion, and it also stops some of my rook lift ideas. Alright, I guess this guy is very adamant. We're going to keep avoiding that rook trade. If bishop d6, I'm going to take on e8. Or actually, then I'll be able to take f6. So bishop d6, take on f6 is big. Rook d3 next move, though, is the idea still. If he goes queen f5 again, then we'll figure it out. Okay, can't really avoid the rook trade. Oh, hold on. If king... Oh, that's bad. If king h2, bishop d6 pins my queen. So we play bishop... We play rook e1. We definitely don't allow him to do that. Now we play... Queen e4, I guess. He can just move the bishop, though. We kind of messed this attack up, unfortunately. It's fun while it lasted. We're going to try to kind of blitz this, or bullet this person out. If we can. If we can. Not sure if it'll happen or not. Yeah, so we're going to take this. Queen e5 is a little annoying. Alright, queen e4 to guard the bishop. I don't want to trade queens on d5. That kind of erases all chances I have in the position. Queen here. Bishop f4, I guess, is possible. I don't really want to trade queens. Queen e4. Wow, that's a mistake. I guess I'm getting my piece back. Oh, okay. Tables have been turned once again. And I have increment, so I should not lose this on time. Hopefully not. Once I win my piece back, I'm completely winning. So, bishop e5, definitely a big blunder. Yeah, I probably should have lifted the rook and then sacrificed on g6 instead of sacrificing immediately. Knight g7 and then queen f5 does kind of put a damper on the position. All right, we're just up. We're not up a piece, but we are winning this position. Just walk up and attack the e4 pawn. And play here. Retreat this to attack the a7 pawn. g4 to kick the king away, and then take on e4 next move. He'll play knight g5 check and pick up h3. But I'll pick up. Actually, let's guard g3 first. Oh, I'm sorry, guard f2 first. Take this. Let's just go pick up all the other pawns over here. We're going to pick up this pawn, and then we're just going to push our pawns. There's just... I don't care if he even wins the pawn there. It doesn't matter. It's just, there's just no way. Okay, cool. So we kind of benefited from black making a big blunder, but we've seen that happen in Blitz plenty of times. Okay, so let's flip the board. Oops, actually we were white. So we try to go for some aggressive attacks in this game here. Castles, knight f6, bishop c2, bishop d6, queen e2, there, h3, rook e1, followed by knight e5. Nice little aggressive post for the knight there. He played c5, which is a good move, trying to undermine the d4 pawn, which is guarding the knight. Taking here, big blunder, just losing a piece. So instead I trade the knight first. I played d5. I don't really want to trade here, because then I lose my whole space advantage. I'm still better here, but it's probably a bit more equal. So I played d5, knight f8. If he ever takes this pawn, I'm perfectly fine giving up the queen for 2 rooks. Because my rook is very good here, I'm going to play like bishop to d2 and rook e1 and control this file very well. He played knight f8 though. I played bishop d2, rook d8, bishop c3, queen d7, queen g4, g6, queen g5, bishop e7, here. And there's lots of ideas revolving around. I could take here and then take here like I did in the game. I could take here and then play rook d1 first. I could play rook d1 right now. I could play like f4. I could play lots of different stuff here. Let's see though. In hindsight, I think bishop a4 here was the best move first of all. Then when he plays rook e7, now play bishop c3. Because let's say he does, I don't know, let's give him a move. I don't know, a6. We play queen g4, threatening mate. If he plays f6, I can just take it. If he plays e5, I can play like f4 and continue the attack. And if he plays knight g6, I can continue to attack that way too. Bishop a4 just stops his queen from getting to d7. So that was also another possible idea. He probably should play knight g6 here, I think. I would have played h4. If he takes this pawn, well, I could take here, and then he check, take. This is fine for him. However, better is just bishop f5, move the queen, and then h5, and I win the knight because, well, I guess the knight can go here. And I guess knight g6 is his best move, but I can still play stuff like this and still have a good position. I have lots of different options there. What did he play, though? Where's the main game? He played g6, queen g5. If the queen can get here, there's no way to stop those mates. So he kicks me. I go in, f6, take. In hindsight, maybe take, and then rook here first is probably better. That way I can sacrifice and then hop on g3 immediately. I decided to sacrifice first, and then he goes knight g7, rook e3, queen f5. If he can trade queens, his position becomes a whole lot more manageable. So I try to avoid queen exchanges for as long as I can. I wanted to play king h2 until I realized bishop d6 is a big problem for me and just loses the game right away. So I had to play rook e1, queen retreated, queen e4, trading off some stuff. Bishop e5 though, technically black should win this position. Well, I have 3 pieces for the 3 pawns for the piece, so it's still not the easiest thing in the world. But bishop e5 definitely is the big mistake here. It allows me to get my piece back, and then I'm up 3 pawns, and it's an easy win from there. Is it important to know about pawn structures? I mean, everything about it, as it is known as the soul of chess. Maybe a book on it. I don't know if there's a book devoted to pawn structures, but it is important to understand pawn structures and the patterns that come with them. For example, knowing how to play against an isolated pawn, knowing how to play with an isolated pawn, knowing how to play against doubled pawns, knowing how to play against a certain openings pawn structure, stuff like that. Knowing how to play in those kind of situations makes your life a whole lot easier if you already kind of have a basic understanding of what to do. It's interesting that you make the attack without calculating everything, even the knight sacrifice, without being afraid. Well, I mean, it is just, it's just Blitz Online. If this was an over-the-board game, I would definitely calculate a bit more, just to be sure. But this is, Blitz Online is kind of the training ground, I guess is a way of saying it. This is where you practice new things. This is where you practice new openings, try out stuff that maybe you wouldn't necessarily go for in a long tournament game. So, don't be afraid of losing. Just try new stuff out. A good lesson on pawn structures? Yeah, so maybe check that link out. I haven't verified the link, though. Hold on. Yeah, so maybe check that link out for some information on pawn structures that... oops. That was just put in the chat there. Okay. Alright, I think I missed a few things. No, actually, I think I'm caught up. Okay, cool. Alright, so all that. Get that. Okay, so let's look for... we'll probably have time for one more game here. We are up to 1848. So not necessarily 1900 just yet, but we gained about 80 points today. 80-ish points? 90? Somewhere in there? So let's look for another game and see if there's anybody wanting to play us. Alright, we have OK Bonnie. Looks like the name. OK Bonnie. We're gonna try to do the Danish Gambit if we can make it work. We're gonna go for that same opening as earlier though. The Danish is yeah, we're gonna go with the same opening though. Oh, okay. I guess we take knight f3. I guess knight takes. Bishop c5 is probably not a bad idea. He wants to take and play queen h4, which would be quite annoying. So we're gonna play. Does my wife dig chess, or does she think it's nerdy, or is she aggressively neutral? She actually had a account on chess.com for a little while. Oddly enough, she actually won a couple games, which is I was actually pretty proud of her. Does she think it's nerdy? Not really. She actually plays quite a lot of computer games as well. So if anything, she's pretty nerdy too. Yeah, she's pretty cool with it. Doesn't really have a problem with it or anything. It's actually kind of an odd situation. Let's play g3. It looks very boring. Actually, maybe knight f5. Knight f5 was probably pretty good. That's probably what I should have done. Knight f5, now that I think about it. Alright, we're exchanging. And then bishop g2 and get castled. Maybe not the most aggressive game, but we just played a couple of attacking ones. Let's see how this one goes. Yeah, nobody wants to play against our fearsome Danish Gambit, Mohit. They don't want to face it. Am I afraid of him taking the pawn? Not really. Yeah, let's go knight f5. If he takes, I'm just playing bishop d2. He needs to castle here, and then I'm just going to castle too. I'm not really worried about the pawn. I'm also attacking g7. Knight e7 is sometimes an idea. I don't give one care about this pawn right now. If he takes it, that's fine. Whatever. If he takes it, I'll play rook b1 and bishop e2. His king side is not the safest in the world. Guess we'll play bishop g5. Threatening to double the knight, or double the pawns. We even have knight takes g7 as an idea. Worst thing in the world, in a winning position, about to get mad rating points, and the Bay wants attention, I'm forced to resign. that would be unfortunate for sure. That's you got to be careful about that situation. All right, I'm just gonna play queen e2. This should be okay. Queen d4 is also possible. Queen e2, though, shouldn't be any problem. h3 next move, most likely. I really want to sacrifice on g7. It just looks very fun. But I don't think it works out yet, unfortunately. You could draw it? Yeah, offer the draw real quick if that happens, Stephen. And then you get a little bit of mad rating points. A little bit. Okay, bishop takes knight. That's pretty drastic, I'd say. I'm going to take with the rook. I'm threatening now queen takes g4 maybe, because there is a pin going on there. What do I do here? h6. If I take g4, you can just play like queen b6 check, and I'm in trouble, so that's no good. Bishop e7 back to b4? I don't think it works, though. I'm going to play bishop d2. This kind of looks like a little bit of a pansy move, but we're guarding the pawn. We're going to play h3, move the king. King h1 is probably the next move. Yeah, so king h1. There's no knight f2 check because the rook covers it. And next I'll just play h3. Black's going to be in a little bit of a sticky situation after h3. So we're down a minute, though, so I need to play a little bit quicker. Rook f4 to attack the knight. He needs to play like h5. And then I play h6. Most likely. Most likely. h3 is the threat. I'm not even really going to take the knight. I'll just play h3 and trap him. Chicks, man. Chess is awesome. I'm sick of watching The Notebook. I've had to watch that one quite a few times. So I feel you on that one. Ever since you started chess, what did you do to improve in it? Mainly just a lot of knowledge absorption, looking at lots of games, playing lots of games, watching lots of videos, reading lots of books. I really haven't had a chess coach, even though I would advise people to get a chess coach. It would definitely speed up your improvement, but that's not necessary, even though that's kind of working against myself because I am a coach. I'm kind of just saying it's not necessary. I think we just take here, right? Free pawn. And this knight's going to be hard to guard. If knight f2, check king h2. Yeah, you can definitely do a lot of work on your own with chess. Sack the rook for the two knights. Did I have the option? Take. If I take there, he just plays pawn takes. And it's just sacking the rook for one knight. So I don't think that works. If he plays rook e8, I think bishop e3? No, not bishop e3. I think queen h5 is okay. Attack the rook. And then, like, I don't know, rook f1 next move, or queen takes h6. So we're hitting the rook and the pawn. We have two bishops against two knights, and we're already up one pawn. Okay, knight f7, good move. Just going to play a quick move here. Rook f1. He can't play rook e2 because I just take it. Actually, queen g6 check was probably good there. I'll play that next move if I can. Okay, I'm going to check. I'm going to pick up this knight for free. That's just a free piece. Not too much to say. And he's going to lose on time. That's unfortunate. Okay, let's analyze this one. Taught my wife a few chess things. Her names for the pieces are funny to me. Horsey, obvious. Fish face for the bishop. That's interesting. The HBIC for the queen. I like that one. But at least she's interested in learning, so that's fun. Why HBIC? Head B word in charge. Yep. And the rook is just like the tower to a lot of girls. Yeah, my wife actually is, I think, what was her rating on here? I might pull that up right after. Let me analyze this game real quick, and I'll pull up her old profile page for this real quick. Okay, so we're playing e4, c6. Nobody likes to play e5, or else I would play like the Danish if I could. We go for the sacrifice. You know, you can't fault me for trying. Instead, though, I should have played knight f5 here. This would have been good. Attacking g7, and I stopped queen h4 check. Instead, I played g3. Take, knight f6, bishop g2, queen a5, knight f5. If he takes the pawn, I block, he moves, and then I take this, and his king is very unsafe. So he castled, I castled, knight e5, bishop g5, threatening, I don't know, take here, take here, take here. That's big problems for him. So he played knight g4, queen e2, take, h6, retreat, check, move, attack the knight. I thought he was going to play h5, and then I was just going to play h3, knight h6, and move back, and now this knight's kind of in some trouble. Instead he played f5, very risky looking. h3, g5. I take, check there, queen h5, hitting the rook and the pawn. He played knight f7, rook f1. Queen d8 just blunders a piece after I check and then pick it up, and it's pretty much over at this point. Where did black go wrong in this game? He was behind on development for quite a while, which is kind of maybe not behind on development, but he had two bishops. I had two bishops against two knights. My pawn structure is bad, but his king side's very weak. He needs to kind of shore up his king side. Maybe f6 is better than h6. And then he needs to get his other pieces into the game, is probably the way to go here. So he kind of, or black kind of made some mistakes there at the end, and I picked up the piece and won the game. All right, the Star 270, thanks a lot for the follow, as well as Avani11 and Sushi Dread. Thanks a lot for the follow, guys. Glad you guys are enjoying it. Let's see, my girlfriend never wants to play with me because she hates losing, and I'm like, welcome to chess. Suddenly chess is a role-playing game. Chess, yeah. You don't beat them too bad at the start. You sometimes let them win at the start, just so they're not mad at you, and then you ease them into it once they've gotten at least a win or two under their belt. Where is my wife's chess account? Let me see. I have to turn the board off. So that was the final game for the day. I'm just going to do kind of a brief advertisement for the free coaching program during the month of July. Actually going to show this this account really quick. I don't even know what her rating was. View. Wow, she was 1248 standard. All right, all you weirdos get to see her. All right, so she was 1248 standard with 9 wins and 11 losses. So that's actually not bad. She was 1395 at one point. Average opponent was 1159. She didn't do so hot at Blitz, 0-1. But yeah, that's it. All right, so let me do a little. Let me pull up that advertisement real quick here for you guys. Hey, Vona32, thanks a lot for the follow. Where did that go? Okay, so this is also a little bit of a advertisement here. Oops, this isn't the view live form. And I'll make this bigger. And I'll get this out of the way. If I can. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the chat box, the link to this a couple times here again. If you guys are interested in the free chess coaching during the month of July, during next month, July 2015, click on the link in the chat that I just put there a few times. Fill out this little form. Just kind of a brief, I'll just kind of explain real briefly. We'll read our mission part here. The form is very easy to fill out, though. It's really just your name, date of birth, country and time zone, email address, your chess.com username. If you have an official over-the-board rating, put it in. Which section would you be in? There are 3 different sections, 0 to 500, 500 to 900, 900 to 13, 13 to 16, and 16 to 19. A couple other little notes about yourself. And I'll read the our mission part here for you guys. Can I make this a bit bigger? Let me make this bigger. Remove, add screen capture. Make this a little bit bigger for you guys. I gotta get XSplit out of the way. Move. Okay. I think you should be able to see it. Alright, so our mission, Chess.com University is the world's leading online chess teaching organization because we work hard every day to help others learn and improve at this game we all love. Numerous studies have demonstrated the academic and health benefits of chess, and besides that, playing chess is fun. We believe more people should play chess and have an opportunity to learn chess the right way. We're doing our best to help this cause. It's important to note that creating, managing, and teaching an online chess program is incredibly time-consuming and expensive. Monthly tuition for this program will be set to be $35. However, we decided to do something special for the chess community by giving everybody the chance to learn chess from the best for free. The July 2015 month of the program is completely free. There you go, free for you guys. For everybody because all expenses have been paid for on your behalf by Chess.com University President Kairav Joshi. Help us by spreading the word. Tell your friends, family, other contacts about our free one-month program. You might also contact local schools, community centers. This kind of if you would want to help us out a little bit. It's a golden opportunity for individuals to learn chess from the world's leading chess teaching organization for free once again. We hope that many players take advantage of this opportunity and become our students in July. And you're not locked into the program. You could just take the 1 month for free and you're not obligated to pay the $35 in future months. That's completely up to you. What do you mean by learning chess the right way and the wrong way? Sometimes people have learned chess and are too rigid in their rules, and sometimes they learn chess just by memorizing opening moves and not really understanding how to play the actual game, how to make plans in chess, how to play positionally, how to incorporate tactics in your play. Some people just memorize openings and try to memorize too many things rather than thinking on their own, which is what we try to instill throughout the program. So submit the form above, submit the form, and then that will complete your registration for the program. The program begins on July 11th, 2015. You'll receive more information and instructions via email towards the end of June. So before the 11th, you would get more information once you signed up. And it's pretty simple, like I said, name, date of birth, country, time zone, pretty easy stuff. And it's completely free. Pretty much, I don't see any reason not to sign up. Something free sounds nice to me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me put this back on. Okay. All right, so today's game's wonderful. Oh, thanks a lot. Can you rewatch the other days somewhere? It will be, click on my YouTube logo below. That'll have all the previous games. I have not uploaded day 6 just yet. I have to upload day 6 and 7. But it'll have days 1 through 5 so far. I have to upload day 6 and 7. I've been really busy, like I said, lately. 6 and 7 will get uploaded though pretty soon. Is it an online course? Yeah, it's an online course. It's live lessons, so you'd be interacting with the coach. He'll ask questions. He'll participate in chat with everybody that's watching. Kind of like a live stream, like what we're doing right now, where I answer your chat questions. I also could ask a question. You guys can answer it yourself. Different things like that. So it's kind of like what we're doing right now, except with actual structured learning, rather than just watching somebody play and explain a few things. It would be more like me saying, okay, we're going to talk about positional sacrifices, or we're going to talk about development, or we're going to talk about some kind of topic, and that's where the lesson would be talking about. And of course, there's also it's very interactive. It's not just watch a video and do this homework type stuff. Definitely not like that. Very interactive. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed the games. Once again, if you're enjoying the stream, click on the follow button below. It's the little, I think it might be like a heart-shaped button or something like that. Click the follow button if you're interested in keeping up with the stream. We did get up to a rating of 1856, so we are 344 points away from our goal. We'll try to get much closer to that on Monday and Tuesday. I'd like to finish it on Tuesday if possible, but we'll definitely finish it next week, even if I have to stream on Wednesday and Friday once again. Maybe it doesn't finish by the end of June, but we'll finish it for sure. Will there be homework just asking for the July classes? I am honestly not entirely sure. I believe there might be a little bit, but it's not like graded stuff. You won't get in trouble if you don't do it. It's just for if you want to progress quicker and things like that. There are many games where you're down in development and then came out on top. Yeah, so you'll learn how to. You can also play behind development and win games. You don't have to necessarily always be ahead of development, but it is usually a good thing to get in the habit of. All right, thanks TRX for the win, if that's what you meant. FTW, Cerebral Assassin, and Poor Player 9 for the follows. And also, like I said earlier, if you want to see the games from the previous days or the games leading up to today, click on the YouTube logo below on the stream, below the stream. Click on the subscribe button, and you'll be able to see all the previous games. I think so far there's like almost 70 games uploaded. And after today, there'll be like 100 total. So, well, lots of games. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I will see you guys on Monday, is the plan. Monday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. And we'll continue the challenge at that point. All right, guys. Talk to you later.